Jarvis, drop my needle.
Hello, this is the hardcore legend Mick Foley, and if you are interested in listening to idiots, you came to the right place. Have a nice day.
Woo! That's an attention getter.
He's a very strange young man.
He's an idiot. What we're dealing with here is a complete lack of respect for the law.
Oh my God, he's an idiot.
You know, of course, that you're out of your jurisdiction.
Personally, I think you're an idiot.
But that's the evidence in the car.
But I was going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
Always like to keep my audience riveted.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, friends and fiends, and welcome to Free Range Idiocy, the podcast about everything, but mostly just the stuff we like. It's been a minute or three since we've gotten any new Star Wars releases, but geeks of the world rejoice, for Ahsoka is coming with their two lightsabers to slash all your malaise and boredom to shreds. Will we be seeing space whales? Will Ezra Bridger make his live-action debut? Will Kanan Jarrus dance with rabid womp rats? I'd normally say your guess is as good as ours, but this right here is our podcast, so our guess is going to count just a little bit more right now. I mean, it's still probably wrong, but we're using our space magic powers to pretend in this episode 139, Ahsoka, real or jabroni? I am your Uncle Todd, and with me, as always, is the man who once wielded Darksaber for an entire week before realizing it was a burned-out fluorescent light tube. He has been my partner in idiocy for over 2 decades, and more than likely has some future lung problems waiting for him. I give you the man they call Tim.
Darby Wells, my friend. How are you, sir?
Darby Wells here, Captain. Oh, speaking of that, remind me there's a Scotty bit of minutia coming up that we need to chat about. But I'm doing all right. How about yourself, sir?
Doing well, feeling good. Heart is working well. Going to be going in for a little tune-up in a couple of weeks. Knock out those crazy little nodes that are making my heart rate go crazy, and then we're going to be back to a fine working order.
You're soft-selling this a lot from what you just told me in the pre-production meeting, where the word ablation was bandied about.
Yes. I'm going to undergo an ablation procedure, which will knock down, for listeners who are just joining us, I have been, over the last 2 years, experiencing fast heart rate to the tune of about 140, 150 BPM. When I'm just like sitting there watching TV, it's called an atrial fibrillation, atrial flutter, and so they're going to take care of that with a little freezy magic, and they're going to paralyze some nodes. They're going to take care of business. So,
as I so sympathetically and empathetically put it, they're going to fricassee your heart.
That's right. So this summer of heart issues is about to come to a triumphant close. But, at the end of all this, I'm happy to know my arteries are clear. Everything about my heart is in fine working order. It's just I have a couple of mischievous, nodes that are just kind of firing little electrical signals when they shouldn't, and we're gonna take care of business. So
and just further proof that miracles do indeed happen, because with the sheer gross tonnage of meat that the man they call Tim consumes,
and eggs. Don't forget the eggs,
and eggs, and bacon, and cheese, and whatnot. With all of that, and the butter. Let's not forget the butter, because this man makes his cereal in the morning in a butter sauce. But in spite of all that, he's the only person I know who makes oatmeal by starting and making a roux.
Yes.
But in spite of all that, the man's arteries are clear. I don't know. It's a miracle of modern science, ladies and gentlemen.
It is.
But I'm glad to hear it, and I'll be glad that you are managing to get this fricasseeing type procedure and get things resolved, sir.
All right. And, I want to point out to the listeners, because they're listening to this, they don't get to see us, but we have to bring up the juxtaposition that is going on right now, because over the weekend, my youngest son's about to go back to college. So I was basically hitting, the point of no return when it came to actually getting this desk moved into my older son's room in the basement. Finally did that. So I have a quasi office, well lit now.
I know.
I'm living with the civilized, society once again.
well lit. I mean, a nice taupe background, like
absolutely,
lots of nice neutrals.
Camp lights above me. I mean, I am living the high life. I sent a picture to Uncle Todd. I said, "Look at it, baby. I'm back, baby. I'm back."
He doesn't have to worry about like
took me 3 years, but I'm back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we have Uncle Todd, who's basically in the cave.
In my own Blair Witch basement, and constantly on brown recluse lookout.
We're waiting for the lights to go out and the whole thing to go black, and then I think Uncle Todd's got some purple lights that kick on as a warning light, so we'll have an Undertaker theme going on there.
Yeah, it's good times. Good times. When I'm not recording at our palatial headquarters, and I'm doing my home recording, and for those of you wondering, the air quotes are out in full force with that. I'm down here in the basement. Tim can actually see my laundry in the back. It's great.
It's air drying. It's hanging on the rafters there. I'm familiar. I get it.
When you got a dehumidifier that's running 24/7 anyways, you might as well take advantage of that bad boy.
Absolutely. Go for it, my friend. Go for it, my friend.
All right. Well, we are going to dive into our real or jabroni lead pipe cinch surefire predictions for the upcoming Ahsoka series. As we're recording this, we were supposed to record this Monday, the 21st of August. However, due to some familial medical intervention,
that dumpster still firing.
Oh yeah, the dumpster fire is just burning bright, baby. Burn, baby, burn. Yeah, it's just continues. So we're actually recording this the night before Ahsoka premieres, and as a matter of fact, by the time we finish recording this episode, I just might go up and watch the first couple episodes because it'll be the clock will have turned over for sure. It is 9:14 here on the East Coast, so we'll see how this goes. It's not perspectives; it's my personal hell.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, we are going to get in a little segment we like to call the Week in Geek, where the man they call Tim has caroused about the interwebs and caroused.
What am I doing?
I don't know. I mean, does your wife know that you're going carousing around the interwebs?
Good Lord.
It's mostly on Old Republic, message boards. Don't worry.
Basically,
about it. Does anyone even know what a message board is anymore? Under the age of like 40.
Well, if you say bulletin board, I think they think it's the one with tax. So not the ones we're familiar with.
At my age, the mind starts playing tricks. So, death!
That's only the cat.
Anyways, this is a bunch of stuff that Tim likes to call the Week in Geek.
The Week in Geek.
Feels so funky.
What do we got this episode, sir?
Death!
All right, sir. Well, to kick it right off, we're going to jump right into Marvel news. And we found this one by way of InsideTheMagic.net.
Who's
Spidey.
we? Do you have a research department? Do you have your own intern?
Hey, we're in the age of generative AI, so you know what I mean? I got my AI, robot finding stuff for me over here. So come on.
It's actually a Furby that he. It's actually an old Furby that he's got duct taped to a keyboard.
It's one of those Tickle Me Elmos from the service merchandise.
Oh God, don't! Oh, those are terrifying. We used to work in a warehouse, so we had when Tickle Me Elmo came out, and it was a big deal, and everyone was reserving these. So we had about the entire will call section was nothing but Tickle Me Elmos. So we would get everybody in the warehouse would get 4 or 5 of these things, and we'd lay them out. We'd have our arms across all of them, and we would count down and all hit them at once.
Yep.
So they'd all do that. And start vibrating. Oh my gosh, it was the most demonic sounding thing. You don't know terrifying until you've heard 24 Tickle Me Elmos all speaking in unison
on these metal wire shelves too. So it's
when they start vibrating, it was just
gosh.
Yeah, you're just the world is coming to an end.
Those were the days, my friend. Those were the days.
Where were we again? Marvel.
Feige has and I don't know if this is gospel or simply rumor, but it sounds like the Feige is reportedly going to pull. We're going to have a substitution on the Marvel field, pulling Tom Holland and putting in Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man for the next Avengers movie. So,
I mean, there has been that whole thing about I actually saw an article and it was total clickbait. Oh my gosh. It was like, Tom Holland says there's one condition that if it's not met, he's going to walk away from Spider-Man. And the thing was like, yeah, it has to top the last movie. I'm like, oh, wow. Okay, whatever. But people actually seem to, I didn't watch any of the Amazing Spider-Man movies. So Andrew Garfield's kind of in between. He was the one in between, what's his face?
Tobey Maguire and Tom Holland. Yep.
Yeah. So it sounds like, at least from what I've understood, Andrew Garfield kind of got done dirty in those movies.
Yeah.
He was much like Rambo and Rambo 2 and set up to fail, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's an interesting thing, picturing Andrew Garfield with like the red headband and everything. Anyways, so and it was, a lot of folks were really happy to see him get his due in No Way Home. So
yeah,
I kind of think it's an interesting thing. It's been road tested. Like, people seem to dig his take on Spider-Man, and because it would be kind of presented in this multiversal sort of way, like. No, I think it could work. I think it'd be an interesting twist, and I don't think you necessarily have to have Tom Holland's Spider-Man in there. I think it could be a very interesting way to go.
Yeah, and the article talks about so the question obviously is, why would they just want to pull him out and plug Garfield in? And the answer, according to the article, is that Holland's Spider-Man needs some time away from the Avengers and big scale events after No Way Home. Fans have spent the past few years seeing Peter fight Avenger level threats and not be the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man we all love. It's time for him to face off against Kingpin and other street level villains before heading back to journey with the Avengers. And so the idea would be, Andrew Garfield would be a good, temporary fit in for Spidey in Avengers 6, which I believe is being called Secret Wars, because the actor has no ties in the MCU and can continue his story in Secret Wars and maybe get the symbiote that was left behind by Tom Hardy's Venom, kick off a new movie dealing with that. So there's just some possibilities there which sound kind of interesting, and it does make sense in a way. No Way Home in many ways was the way it ended was like a reboot for Spider-Man to the Spider-Man that we kind of all know. Almost like, I think I even saw an article that was arguing the position that maybe all of the prior Spider-Man content we just saw, including being involved in Avengers Endgame, may have just been a prequel to the Spider-Man that we know, because now when we left him in No Way Home, he is truly alone. There's no Aunt May, he has, his friends are not his friends really, because they don't remember him. And so it's really, he's starting from square one. And so I like that concept. And I think it would be, to your point, it'd be a nice way to give Andrew Garfield a little due for his part in all of it, since he was kind of jobbed out a little bit through his run in the Amazing Spider-Man. So there we go. Thank you, LA. So that's where I don't know, what are your thoughts? I kind of dig it. I think it's an interesting way that they can maybe breathe a little life into Spider-Man. Not that it needs it, but just it gives it a little twist, it gives it a little nuance, and then depending on where they're going after Phase 5, you bring Holland back, and there's all that nostalgic love for getting his version of Spider-Man back in the mix.
I mean, I think it'll work. I could dig it. I mean, I think the way they presented Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man opens up some very interesting avenues, and it's a wounded Spider-Man, and not that Tom Holland isn't as well, after Aunt May dies, but I think it's an interesting way to go, and I think it could work well. And let's face it, I mean, I think not to lean too deeply into wrestling terminology. Honestly, Tom Holland plays the face in peril about as well as any other.
The Ricky Morton spot, baby.
Yeah. Like the guy that you're just rooting for, but is totally just getting his ass handed to him all the time. He does that really well.
Oh, yeah.
So I feel like they could have him dealing with Kingpin some more, although Kingpin is kind of a big deal. The way they're kind of setting him up it's not an Avengers level threat, but it's a major threat.
Right.
And I think that it would work with him because at the end of the day, Tom Holland can pull that off. That his version of Spider-Man, I think, can pull that off, and it can still feel threatening enough for it to work, rather than going, well, he just did this and that and the other. Why is this a big deal? I still think it could work. So I'm all for it. Why not? Hey.
Nice. All right, Andrew Garfield, we are bullish on you as Spider-Man for Avengers.
Going to the bullpen. Going to the bullpen.
Tap him in. All
Where's
right.
Rich Garces? Get the bullpen cart to get him.
Guapo. All right. Our next one, non-Marvel, non-Star Wars, believe it or not. This one actually
How did this
unearthed,
make it to the editing process?
Uncle Todd. This comes courtesy of Uncle Todd via denofgeek.com.
Well, that's the problem. You listen to me.
That's right. So this one's an interesting little tidbit on the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen and the impact it had on Sir Sean Connery's career, that impact being it deep-sixed it. So
I should have given it to the Marx Brothers.
There we go. The Marx Brothers. Yes. Junior.
Goose-stepping morons such as yourself would be better off reading books than burning them.
We named the dog Indiana.
I love that dog.
Oh, it's such a great line.
That whole flick is just money in the bank every which way that you can possibly imagine.
100%. But
it's a good thing they never made any sequels after that, isn't it?
It is.
It's
so,
great.
Sir, do you want to summarize this a little bit? Or you want me to jump in?
Well, so I can't, honestly, it's been a while since I read the article.
That's all right, go ahead.
But essentially, that League of Extraordinary Gentlemen was the last movie Sean Connery ever acted in.
Which I didn't know. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's up there on the wow, what a way to go sort of thing list. But so apparently he was offered Gandalf in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, that was interesting to read.
He was also offered the role of Morpheus in The Matrix.
That would have been weird.
It would have been. It would have been sincerely weird.
Knowing what we know, right?
Yeah.
But
no, I mean, I can't imagine anyone but Lawrence Fishburne doing that. Or if you go like, for Apocalypse Now era, Larry Fishburne, which I just can't possibly imagine calling Lawrence Fishburne Larry. It just, I can't. But anyways, so he was offered both of those roles and turned them down because he did not understand the script. He didn't get it.
Yeah.
And then they both go on to do, of course, beaucoup bucks, big business. And so then this came along, and I think he was just sort of like, all right, well, I don't want to miss out on the next big thing, big ensemble action, special effects sort of thing. Yeah, I don't get it, but sure, why not? And boy, maybe that was the lesson he needed for like, wow, my judgment is done.
Let me talk to you.
Yeah. Let me just step to the side. Although some people have pointed out, like Sean Connery's filmography is very hit or miss. Yeah. After you go past James Bond, like there's a lot of misses in there. He almost turned down Hunt for Red October, which to me is, even though making fun of the Scottish accent, having Russian sub-captain is a favorite pastime. There was that one comedian who said, he said, so Sean, you're going to have to do a Russian accent. No, I don't. You're going to hire a bunch of Scottish people so that I fit in, that sort of thing.
The new Russian.
Yeah. Russian crew with bagpipes. Oh,
and I want Roddy Piper.
Yeah. Oh gosh, that would have been fantastic, dude. Can you even imagine? Him as like the first officer. Anyways,
beautiful.
All right, we're not fantasy booking this, but anyways, so he takes League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which is to put it gently, a steaming pony loaf. Essentially, it's not a good movie. I remembered I was excited for this movie, and I was living in Virginia at the time. And one of my roommates was the manager of a Regal Cinema. Not important what, I mean, I just remember it was a Regal Cinema.
Yeah.
And so I could get into movies free whenever I wanted. And so that became like my go-to thing because
Were we friends at the time, or did you not extend me this courtesy?
I was in Virginia.
Oh, well, yeah, then never mind. I couldn't have taken advantage.
Virginia, not New Hampshire.
No, you know what? I'm a jet setter. I could have flown out there, and I could have
not at that time. This was back when you were still, Papa John's and mac and cheese
and Madden football
and Shaw's frozen pizza. You were still in those days. Yeah. So I would go to these movies, and this is one of those movies I saw. I didn't pay for it, and afterwards, I still wanted a refund. Like I was that upset about it. I was like, I feel like I'm owed some compensation for like suffering. It's not good.
Half, I'm never getting back.
Yeah, no, it was like 2 hours. It's not a short flick, and it's epic, and it's one of those things where there's a ton of potential.
Yeah,
and it just wasn't great.
Yeah,
and it is it's too bad because actually Connery is not horrific in it. He's Sean Connery. He's like that 90s Sean Connery. It's essentially like watching The Rock Sean Connery, just as Alan Quartermain or whatever. But yeah, no, what a horrible way for a career to end.
Well, it sounded like he was plagued with budgetary issues because he was the highest paid actor on set, and they had to pull in they couldn't pull in anyone of equal caliber, or not equal, but you know what I mean, at somewhat around his caliber because of the cost. And so and then it also sounded like the director was a nut job, and he was basically he's quoted as just saying like, this guy, like, it almost sounded like Connery had to like step in and direct some stuff because this guy couldn't do the job, or it just seemed like he was like not capable.
Yeah,
because he ended up walking away from Hollywood after this movie. Like, that director never apparently did another film after that one. So it sounds like he kind of met his match. So,
and it's Stephen Norrington was the director.
Yeah,
and of course this was another Alan Moore property.
Yeah,
much like Watchmen and all of these. That is just. I'm sure he's not happy about it because, well, let's face it, Alan Moore's not happy about anything. The sun comes up in the morning and he shakes his fist at it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was not exact. I mean, it's weird. Like, the cast was not horrific, but yeah, there's no big names in this.
No,
I was excited mostly because Jason Fleming, who played Dr. Henry Jekyll, he was in Guy Ritchie's movie Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. And I recognized him from that. So I was all excited about that because that was at a point when I was big into Guy Ritchie. Oh my gosh. I think I watched Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels and Snatch like once a week at that point. Like, those were so on heavy rotation in my life.
Yeah.
Because that's all I was doing. Like, I was eating, I was waiting tables. I was drinking far too much, eating microwave popcorn for lunch because it was cheap. And watching movies. That was my life. That was my life.
Yeah.
But yeah, this movie, oh boy. Oh.
Whoa, Nelly.
I would actually suggest that if it's streaming somewhere and you don't have to pay for it, you're already paying for the service, go ahead and watch it. It's so then a funny thing, a comparison to this, and I think we actually ought to do a maybe an episode on this movie because I think it's fascinating on many different levels.
Yeah.
But
I haven't watched it before, so I'd be game.
Oh no, not this movie. Actually, the movie I'm going to mention, Twister.
Sorry.
So I rewatched.
Oh, I've seen Twister. Oh yeah, actually, my wife just watched it. I came upstairs one night and she was like, "Oh, I'm watching Twister." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that's kind of random," but yeah, she enjoys that movie. Yeah,
I rewatched it the other day. Just for giggles. I didn't know, apropos of nothing.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? It's goofy and it's overacted and all this, but there's a certain
Helen
charm.
Hunt, Bill Paxton.
Yep.
Who else do we have? There's
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yep.
Van Halen does a song, which, by the way, I think is a underrated song and probably could even stand the test to be a wrestler's theme because it just has a very nice guitar part to it.
Oh yeah, and you could, but it's so evident of the fact that the band was breaking up at that point and not at odds because you can't understand any of the verses.
Yeah,
only thing you can understand.
Humans being.
Yeah, that's one
my
part.
Sammy Hagar, by the way. So sorry.
That's
about
the one part of the verse that you can understand, and then all you can understand is the chorus, which is just shine on, shine on, shine on. Yeah. That's it. And then it's Eddie doing Eddie things. And there's nothing wrong with that. That song goes way harder than it has any right to. And the segue and the way that they segue into it during the movie from orchestral to the Van Halen version is it's beautiful. Carrie Elwes.
Oh yeah, yep.
And who else?
We should do that. We should do an episode on that movie.
I think that might be it for big names.
We got to build up the backlog with the writer's strike, man. We're going to be it's going to be a dry season.
But yeah, it has charm, sort of like how The Rock has charm.
Yes,
you know, where you're like,
welcome to The Rock.
Yeah, I mean, it's goofy, and I would actually say the Twister is a little bit below The Rock. The Rock to me is probably like the quintessential '90s movie that does '90s movie things. The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen has none of that charm. It's a car wreck, but it's not even it's not even a great car wreck. It's not like an 18 car pileup. It's mostly like a Yugo that got pancaked by a garbage truck, and the garbage truck is now leaking on top of the Yugo. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you have a chance, I mean, just as a thing to stare at,
check it.
It's interesting.
Check it.
It's interesting. And then have a toast for Sir Sean afterwards.
That's right. I did find interesting at the tail end of the article, it mentioned how when Spielberg did Indiana Jones, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, he actually did write a small part for Sean Connery, and he begged out of it. The quote here is, quote, "In the end, retirement is too damn much fun." Yeah. Which sounds like a very Connery thing to kind of say, you know.
Well, I mean, if you've got the money at that point, you're not doing it for the money. And if you've kind of had that bad experience, I get why you're just like, no, I don't need to do that. It might be great, but meh.
If I may ask of you, sir, if you could put in the show notes, just related to Sean Connery, not this article necessarily. Mike Myers, a lot for AFI Lifetime Achievement Award for Sean Connery, long time ago, did a phenomenal job with that, and it is hysterical. I'll try to send you the link, but it's a look up on YouTube. It comes up pretty easy. But just absolutely hysterical but very touching because of the touchstone that Connery was for Myers and his family. Like Myers' father had passed away a long time prior. And some of it is, you know, he wishes his dad could see him doing what he was doing that night, you know, honoring his favorite actor. But
because his dad was big into the James Bond movies. That's why he did all the Austin Powers stuff.
But my God, when Myers does, like the whole thing he does is absolutely hysterical. And first time I watched it, I mean, I just tears. I was laughing so hard. And they go to Connery, and Connery's losing it. I mean, he's just absolutely losing it during this because it is just so freaking funny the way he does, you know, the jokes and everything. So anyways, just Connery's an icon, and Myers did a serviceable job in that role. So
as opposed to how Billy Connolly spoke to him, where he says, "Oh, you've done very well for someone with a speech impediment."
Yeah. Let me talk to you. Bye. All right. Well,
makes you humble.
It does make you humble, Sheiky. Absolutely. All right. Well, moving on from. Oh, I'm sorry. What was that, Sheiky?
He was a punk.
Okay, very good. Moving on from Sir Sean Connery and the movie that hosed his or closed his career, sadly.
You know, either one's right.
Hosed and closed. That's what we're going to call it. Now we switch over back to Marvel, back to the wheelhouse, if you will.
Somewhere Charles Wright is like, did somebody say hose?
Pimpin' ain't easy.
Now I could either kick your ass.
Good God.
Or what, Sonny Boy?
Yeah, right. We named the dog Indiana.
Anyways, moving along again.
All right. So this one, again, courtesy of our friends at InsideTheMagic.net, talking about Benedict Cumberbatch, our Doctor Strange, if you will, that if there's a Doctor Strange 3, it could reboot the Avengers franchise, kind of making him the kind of cornerstone, if you will, to lead the Avengers against Kang in Avengers Kang Dynasty, which is slated for 2025. But I think right now, any day.
Litigation pending.
Litigation pending. Well, actually, there's two asterisks. One is litigation pending. The second is, well, that date may go further out depending on how the writer's strike goes. So
Which is one reason why they might be glad the writer's strike is happening right now. Like, give us a little more time to think this over.
Yes. But the idea here is that, Strange basically being kind of the savior of the multiverse, if you will. We saw at the end of Doctor Strange 2 that incursions are a bad thing. And the article is talking about how Strange may be the one to help fix the incursions and basically help navigate not only his way, but the Avengers' way through confronting Kang. Kang being, or not just Kang, but the Council of Kangs that we saw at the end of Quantumania. The idea here being that Kang is going through and actually destroying universes. And Strange is, what does it talk about here? Doctor Strange 3 would pick up where the sequel ended, bring Strange to meet the Black Priest, a group dedicated to saving the multiverse. They will explain Strange and his variants are always around when incursions happen, and if he can prevent that, the multiverse would be safer, but the Council of Kangs is destroying universes left and right. Kang doesn't realize that all of his activity is actually going to doom the entire multiverse, and so Strange is, in a way, stepping in as the last person to stop him and his variants with the help of the other Avengers. So I think it's kind of an interesting concept. I did mention Uncle Todd in the pre-production meeting. I did see an article a couple weeks ago. I'm having struggles finding it, but there was a theory floated that if Marvel has to part ways with Jonathan Majors, there was an idea to pivot the villain from Kang over into Doctor Strange, given how things ended in Doctor Strange 2, where he is now somewhat tainted by his delving into the Book of Evil, which I cannot remember. I don't think it's Book of Ashanti, but it's one of the other books. So that was kind of an interesting thought. But what say you, sir, on Strange being the savior of the multiverse? Does it make sense? Do you think it flows well, given what we've seen? What do you think?
I mean, yeah. Just of course, with the experience that he's had in, cracking things open in No Way Home, and then of course, Strange 2. Yeah, it kind of makes sense. I think the thing that I have a little bit of trouble with is the idea of then pivoting Strange to be the baddie.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I have to imagine. Granted, I am an amateur armchair screenwriter. And just a fan of dissecting stuff and all that. But I imagine there's got to be a point of no return where you're not going to be able to make that pivot.
Yeah.
Like you've gone too far into this thing, and now the baddie's the baddie, or you got to come up with something completely new because you've got this guy so far down the road. Now, granted, I guess you could always try and, hot shot the booking, sort of like, professional wrestling does, and sometimes it's like, well, I'm just mad at him, or whatever, and then it's like, oh, okay, well, that doesn't make any sense, and you hope everyone just goes along with it. But
yeah,
I don't know. I'm a little dubious on that.
Yeah, well, and this is not from this article. This is just, like I said, I'm quoting a different article that I read that I couldn't find.
I was just trying to. I figured I'd box them together there.
But to your point, though, at the end of Doctor Strange 2, though, they have teed it up. I mean, for one, we saw we saw a version of the multiverse where Strange was essentially eliminated by Black Bolt because of what he had done and the path how he had spiraled down into the dark arts.
Mm-hmm.
And what I think is interesting is not that they left it like that, but I mean, you did see that third eye, and he was somewhat tainted by the dark arts. But we were left with the idea that he had it under control. The other thing was we saw Charlize Theron's character, Clea, I believe, in the post-credit scene of Doctor Strange 2, asking for his help because there were incursions starting because of the jumping that he was doing. So if they don't pivot at this point, then there's no way to pivot in my mind, because they've kind of teed it up that there's enough there that he could be the cause for a lot of chaos with the multiverse, and he starts to spiral into the dark arts and so on and so forth. If let's do away with the villain Strange concept and go with the savior Strange concept, that like what I like about this is that, Kang has deluded himself into thinking that he is the only one that can save the multiverse, not realizing his actions are actually what's causing the multiverse to die. And I like that concept, and I like the fact that Strange is the kind of counterweight to him, basically trying to patch up the incursions, trying to save the universes where he can, kind of curious where they're going to go with this, and this is where, we've talked about this before with Endgame, how it's kind of set up really one of the great story endings and story battles that happens in our time. Lord of the Rings was bringing to light what was written in a book, over 100 years ago. For Marvel to have done what they did, where they almost created their own Lord of the Rings scale kind of battle in Endgame, I'm really curious how they're going to make Avengers Kang Dynasty meet that or exceed that. It was just so well set up, and I like the idea of Strange being the one leading it, but we need to see. I agree with this article. I think we need to see a third Strange movie though to kind of set the course for that, because right now I don't feel like that course has been set. Strange 2 was really kind of contained, and I'd like to see a little bit more of a backstory and a purpose to him kind of being that savior, if that makes sense.
Either that, or he's got to make multiple appearances in other people's movies, and he has to then become, I mean, like you said, he becomes the Tony Stark of the MCU, where he's kind of the thread and the glue that is holding everything together. Oh boy, third time's the charm.
There it is.
Once, twice, three times the matey.
That's right.
It'll be interesting.
It will.
It'll be interesting.
It will. All right. Well, before we close the books on this Week in Geek, sir, do we have a Sheik tweet of the week?
We do, and we're still calling them tweets, damn it, because that's what it was before. When
there ain't no X.
When the Iron Sheik was, do you notice how everybody's, they put X in like quotations now, and they have to say, the app formerly known as Twitter. Like, how bad is your brand rebranding that people are still referring to it as the old thing? Not to mention, you're still using the old URL and the same name because you didn't own any of this other stuff.
Yeah.
When you decided that over a weekend that you're going to rebrand. Anyways, that's what happens when elongated muskrat starts getting into things.
Indeed.
Anyways, this week's Sheik of the Week comes from September 28th, 2018, and it's a bit of a musical tweet from the Iron Sheik.
We have a musical Sheiky?
A little bit. So, and it's very introspective in a way, where, of course, all this in caps. How many road must a man walk down before you call him the man?
Dang, he's going Dylan on us.
How many sea must the Jabroni white dove sail before she sleep in the sand? How many time must the raisin balls fly before they forever band? The answer, my friend, is go f*** yourself. The answer is go f*** yourself.
Oh my God. Oh. And that, my friends, is the Week in Geek.
Make him humble.
Oh, Sheiky. Oh.
You are worse than Hulk Hogan.
Amen.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you to Tim for collating and curating that fine collection of stuff. And now we get into...
Here we go, baby.
We get into...
the Fab 50.
The real or the jabroni. And so this is what... For those of you who are not longtime listeners, this is a little thing that we like to do before a show debuts or a movie comes out. And we kind of go through all of the interwebs rumors that are bouncing around. And we let you know whether or not we think that they are the real or the jabroni. Now, this is based off of course, the man whose tweet we just read, the Iron Sheik, who would refer to things as the real, or famously referred to damn near everything as jabroni at one point or another.
Especially Hulk Hogan.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, the burning hatred he had for Hulk Hogan.
Don't get him going on Hogan. Holy moly.
Inspiring, ladies and gentlemen. The hatred that burns with the fire of 1,000 suns. So when we go through these, we adjudicate the rumors based on the scale of the real, which means true, it's totally going to happen, or the jabroni, which is false, ain't going to happen.
Yep.
Now, keep in mind, this show is titled Free Range Idiocy, and it is two self-confessed idiots who are running this show. So I'm going to tell you right now, don't take any of these and run out to your local bookie and start putting money on this. When you get your legs broken, that's all on you. When Knuckles and Moose come in and want their money, just pay them and let it go.
That's right. That's right.
However, this time, and infamously, these episodes tend to run a little bit long. Why? Well, because we just can't stop jabbering, as you're seeing right now, but also because every single damn time Tim starts trying to sneak more and more questions in every single time. And this time he's outdone himself, ladies and gentlemen. He came up with 49 real or jabroni questions. Yeah. He's a madman. He's going to kill us all. I added a 50th.
That's right.
Just to make it even.
Round it out.
Because at that point I was like, whatever. It's, it's apocalypse time.
I think some of these we can run through pretty quick.
Which is usually what Tim says. And then he reads an entire Wikipedia article explaining who like the third pilot from the left in Red, Red Squadron was.
I did tell Uncle Todd I have about 50 tabs open in Chrome right now. So I'm ready. I'm primed.
Which means his machine is about ready to catch fire.
Basically. Actually, this Mac Mini is running like a charm, man. It is no fans, no heat, no nothing. It is cool as a cucumber.
Well, we'll see how that goes later on.
Maybe real jabroni will break it. Who knows?
Yeah. Anyways, and actually, let me tell you. Speaking of cool, I got to tell you this brief story because I found this on the Instagram, and it's hilarious.
The Instagram,
and so it's Joe Montana. And he's talking about during his playing days, of course, because who gives a crap what he's doing now? Not really, but I mean, seriously, I don't know what Joe's doing. He's probably playing golf a lot. And he's talking about he was on the sideline. And, of course, on the sidelines, they have the phones, or they used to. I don't know. I'm guessing they still do, but I'm not sure if they use something else now. But back in the day, they used to have like the corded wall phones, and they'd have them, and they'd pick it up, and the folks in the box would call down to the sidelines, quarterback or whoever would talk to the coach up in the box. They hang up the phone. So he's talking to a coach on the phone. He hangs up the phone, and he's sitting there looking at the phone, going, I wonder if it dials out. So he picks up the phone and he says, well, what do? You get an outside line. You dial 9. He says, I dial 9. There's a dial tone. He says, so I dial my phone number. And his wife picks up. And he's like, hey, honey, how you doing? And she's like, who? What are you doing right now? Why are you calling? And he's like, oh, well, I'm just, I was curious if the sideline phone dialed out. So I just wanted to call and tell you I'm thinking about you and I love you. And I'm just waiting to go back on the field. I'm like,
wow,
this dude in the middle of a freaking NFL game.
Joe Montana once again proving he is everything we thought he was.
The same guy who right before, one of the most famous drives in Super Bowl history, 92 yards to win the Super Bowl.
Yep.
In the huddle, famously says to everyone, hey guys, isn't that John Candy over there? And pick John Candy out of the crowd, and everyone in the huddle is like, what in the? Everyone else is like rattled. And he's like, hey, look over there.
Who dat?
Oh my gosh. It's just cool as a cucumber.
That's
Anyways,
awesome.
You were going to say, sir.
Just real quick, I want to jump in and just give credit to the sources for some of these rumors. Not all of them. Some of these are from the mind of the man they call Tim. One is definitely from the mind of Uncle Todd. But MovieWeb, Screen Rant, and Inverse.com all were sources that were consulted when coming up with some of these. So I just wanted to give credit where credit is due, or blame, however you want to look at it. So,
blame in my case.
That is the disclaimer.
Let me talk to you.
Thank you, LA. Are we ready, sir?
Ready as I'm ever going to be
to this journey.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, gird your loins and perhaps get an extra beverage or 3.
And what's on the line, sir?
I don't even know. Are we still doing that?
Doing what? Bottle of bourbon?
Yeah.
Hells yeah.
Okay, of course, yeah. Tim's about 4 doubles into this so far in the show. So yeah, I guess a bottle. Whoever has the most correct answers out of this gets a moderately priced bottle of bourbon.
We will adjudicate at the end of the Ahsoka series, so I think that is sometime in October. So we will adjudicate these predictions, and there will be someone. Well, I shouldn't say there will be someone. We have had precedent of a tie,
which should not happen.
Well,
the entire scoring system is predicated on us not having a tie, and yet we have had a tie before. And I was dumbfounded how that happened.
It's a complex system.
It's a complex. All right, chuckle nuts. What do we got here to start this thing off?
Are you ready, sir?
You've already asked me 3 times. No, I'm not ready, but let's do it anyways.
All right. So first section is a staple of the Real or Jabroni, In or Out. This section deals with what will we or won't we see during the series, and there's a lot to draw from. So real quick.
And already he's getting into the explanation.
No, just real
dear
quick.
God.
Because we have...
I forgot to mention, if you really want to turn this into a drinking game, don't. Because if you do a shot every time Tim says adjudicate or let me explain.
Or are you ready?
Are you ready? You will have alcohol poisoning inside of 30 minutes.
Good God. Oh man. Well, just want to remind the listeners. So the hallmark of what this series is going to bring is the introduction, the live action debut of Grand Admiral Thrawn. And so what we're going to do is there will be some references to some characters, some places, some things that happen in the Heir to the Empire trilogy. That was the initial set of books in the early 90s written by Timothy Zahn that established the character, and a lot of this is going to be focused on him as well as on, kind of the motivations of Ahsoka as well. So Uncle Todd is drilling his, I can't tell what he was doing there. He had a piece of pipe and he was like screwing it into his nose.
I'm just trying to keep myself interested here while we go on with the preliminaries.
So this is In or Out. So question number 1, sir, 1 out of 50. Here we go. Anakin will appear in ghost form. Real or Jabroni?
I'm going to go real.
All right, you're going real. I, too, am going to go real on this one. Now, the interesting thing is there going to be a actual like flashback for him, or where he is in a, I don't know what the right way to pronounce the word is, corporeal form, where he's, fully himself, or will we, We'll get into the world between worlds because that's a whole other thing. All right, number 2. Will we see Captain Pelion?
Real.
Okay.
We already did. So yeah,
well,
I think
we saw a hologram of him, but will we see him?
Are we turning this into a freaking no?
I'm with you.
Why am I blanking on the guy that we keep on waiting for in Spider-Man?
Mephisto?
Mephisto, yes. So we turning this into a Mephisto situation?
Possibly.
He wasn't really there.
Possibly. Now, the third one's interesting, and I'll answer this one first because I don't want
to see how you pronounce this, honestly.
I don't want you to have to answer first for all of these. Number 3, will we see Rook? Now, for the listeners, Rook is a character. Sorry, let me take a step back. Captain Pelion, first officer of Grand Admiral Thrawn, from the books. We did see him in Mandalorian episode 9, I believe, of that.
Yeah, the finale.
The was it the finale or was it the one before the finale, the penultimate?
Actually, I think you might be right. It might have been the penultimate.
Rook is a character. He's an alien species called from the alien species the Nogri. This is from the Heir to the Empire trilogy. This race was brought in, has a very interesting backstory to it that is played out through that trilogy of books. But Rook is basically, think of him as Grand Admiral Thrawn's heavy / ninja. He's very he is a warrior, but he is a warrior that works in the shadows and is a very cool character.
He's a space ninja.
He's a space. Oh, see, we got space whales. Now we get space ninjas. So I'm going to go the real on this one. So we're seeing Rook. I'm going with it, baby. All the way.
I'm going real too. I mean, we already saw him in Rebels, so
fair enough.
Which you would know if you had actually watched anything more than the first.
Yeah, I'm only one season in, unfortunately. My rewatch that I started at the beginning of the summer has been slow freaking going. So
yeah, it seems like it.
Molasses, my man, molasses. All right, number 4. Will we see Mount Tantus?
Well, we will see. You got to phrase it's not in the form of a question. We're not on Jeopardy.
We will see Mount Tantus.
That's the one where the clone stuff wasn't it?
Yeah. So Mount Tantus is a location from Heir to the Empire. It is basically a place where the Emperor had moved a cloning facility from Camino. Also, there were a lot of like experimental kind of projects done there. And Thrawn uses that as a place to clone an entire new army, which he uses for what we'll talk about later on, which is the Katana fleet, to basically be able to fly that fleet. But basically, Mount Tantus is kind of like a home base that Thrawn establishes. So do you think in the Ahsoka series, we will be introduced to the concept, to the place of Mount Tantus?
I don't think so. I think there's going to be enough other fish to fry in this. So I'm going to go Jabroni.
I'm going to go the real on this one, maybe.
Ooh, we have our first divergence.
Here's my thinking, and this will kind of come out as we go through the other ones. As I came up with some of these and as I put these together, I'm trying to think, what is Ahsoka's motivation and end goal? What is Thrawn's motivation and end goal? Thrawn coming back is one part of it. Mount Tantus, I have a feeling, is going to be a cornerstone of how he's going to achieve what he wants to do. And so I think in a way he has to introduce that, or not he has to, but the story has to introduce that location as a means to an end for what he is starting to go down. Now, I can see your side of it too, which is maybe they save some of the stuff for the Filoni movie, which is rumored to be Heir to the Empire, which could be where they introduce it there. But I'm wondering if we get an introduction to it in the series, not that it has a major role in the series, but just that it's something that he's, basically kind of going for as a stepping stone to his ultimate goal. But we will see. We will see.
You're wrong.
Let me talk to you. All right. Number 5.
God, please, no! No! No!
All right. Number 5. We will see the Grisk.
All right, I know I'm asking for this, but I'm going to need you to remind me who the Grisk are.
All right, so going back to the...
Oh, you're waiting for this one. Spring loaded.
Oh, yeah. Come on, man. You don't think I'm ready? Come on. All right. Not Heir to the Empire. This time we're talking about the 2016 Thrawn trilogy that goes... it's not 2016. 2016, 2018, 2019. The one we reviewed with Jimmy Dice.
Yeah. The bad guys.
Think of the Grisk as Star Wars' version of the Borg.
Yes.
They are an alien species. So they're not... and I don't mean to say that because they're not cyborgs, but they're an alien species in the outer regions that no one knows about. And they possess an ability through fear to subjugate whoever they are conquering. And they essentially they're like the Borg in that they seem to consume cultures, races, and worlds. And they just move forward. And so this is going to be an interesting angle because there's an article, I forget if it was Screen Rant. I think it was Screen Rant that had this. Yeah, is Thrawn a hero? Because there's a question posed of right now everyone's thinking Thrawn is going to be a villain. I think he's going to be a villain, but there's an interesting wrench thrown into it to say, what if they brought the Grisk or they brought the using Vong into this, where Thrawn is more of a herald of what is to come, and he's trying to prepare for it. And so do we see, so are we going a little bit outside the realm of what Ahsoka is really going to be about by saying the Grisk are going to be introduced as well? Like there is going to come a point where there's too much we're trying to introduce here through some of these. And so I'm going to go Jabroni on this. I don't think Ahsoka is going to be about this. And I also don't think, I don't buy into they're going to set up Thrawn as some kind of like hero. They're setting up Thrawn to be a threat and a villain. And so you have to take the Grisk and the Vong out of it, because he could be a hero in that sense, that he comes and says, look, I've been in the outer regions. There's something really bad about to come. We got to get together so we can fight this thing. I don't think he's going to do that. So I'm going to say Jabroni on the Grisk.
I'm going to go Jabroni as well. It's fun from a very inside baseball, inside fan minutia, sort of thing to think about. And oh my gosh, wouldn't it be great? And it's like, yeah, that's great, but it's great for about 1,000 people.
Yep.
And it's Disney Plus, Lucasfilm, they know that. Dave Filoni knows that. So it's like, as cool as it might be, it's so like niche that it's not a thing. Like, go ahead and write your fan fiction about it, because I don't think it's going to happen.
Okay. Number 6, and this is an interesting one. Will we see Mando make an appearance? This is tough.
Yes.
This is a tough one. Because where did Ahsoka debut?
Well, Mando, but the thing is, now Mando has, gone to apparently like the Thanos Garden Planet, version to look upon a grateful universe, which I mean is fine. I personally think I'm good with seeing Mando for a little while. I think just kind of letting that character be, and then maybe seeing him later on down the road, or if they decide to do a Mando season 4, great. But man, it is tempting to tie him in. Although all the reasons I can think of tying him in are because you're trying to gin up some interest. It's the same reason why, we got, Mando in Book of Boba Fett as like almost like Mando season 2.5. Is because you're trying to you're trying to add a little excitement to this character that, even though people are like, it's cool, you're not really, it's like, well, it's kind of thin too. I don't think that's the case with Ahsoka. I think there's a genuine excitement about this. And as much as Filoni liked being part of Mando and having a part in that, I think this is his ball game. I don't think Ahsoka needs Mando. I think there's more than enough going on in that corner of the galaxy far, far away. So I'm going to go Jabroni.
Okay. I'm going to go the real.
Of course you are.
I'm going to go the real. I think they're going to sneak him in as a counterbalance. Use that word a couple times during the episode, but a counterbalance to Ahsoka being a part of Mando.
Okay.
Number 7. Now, this one's interesting to me. Will we see Mara Jade? Mara Jade from the Heir to the Empire book trilogy. And she starts out as an Imperial. As a hand of the Emperor, as they called it.
It was the Emperor's hand, wasn't it?
Oh, maybe it was the Emperor's hand. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was shorter. Anyways, she was a flunky. She was
a jabroni. She was a punk. She makes you humble.
I don't know, because to me, if you're going to have Mara Jade, I feel like you have to have Luke. And I'm really not.
Do you?
I think so, because otherwise I think that I think you start. I feel like you start betraying a little bit of the lore, even though, I mean, Heir to the Empire isn't exactly strictly, according to Hoyle, canon per se. And you're going to necessarily be messing with timelines. I mean, I guess I could see that, but then again, it's like, well, I can't. So Heir to the Empire, Heir to the Empire does take place after
Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, so Battle of Endor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a tough one to wrestle on, because I kind of want to see Mara Jade.
You want to give my answer?
No,
I'm gonna go the real, baby. I'm going the real on this one. I'm going whole hog.
I'm going real.
All right, there you go. Come with me, my brother. All right.
Gosh.
Number 8, we will see. So kind of similar. So in Heir to the Empire, Mara Jade is actually a part of a smuggling crew, if I remember correctly, with Talon Card, and so we will see Talon Card.
Real.
I'm actually going to go Jabroni on this one.
This one is more hopeful, because I would like to see some other smuggler besides
Han Solo.
Yeah. I want to see, and to a lesser degree, Lando, even though I don't know we're ever going to get the Lando that we want, the continuation from Solo.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, that would be too good. But I really do. I want to see another one. I feel like there's so much more to that. like a Han Solo, but on a more organized, bigger, less of a lone wolf scale.
Yeah,
I think would be really cool.
Yeah, the one thing I liked about Talon Card in the books was it was bringing to life the idea of a group. It was almost kind of like a Ocean's 11 sort of situation where we had a group that kind of operated as a whole, as opposed to it just being. Now he was the leader of that group.
Now I would go. It's a little bit more like a Sopranos thing, because it's not like his crew was that elite.
No, but it was the concept of a crew that worked together to pull off a heist or to pull off, a job, and you just didn't get that with Han and Chewie. They were just a duo who were just kind of roaming. Yeah. Next one, number 9, we will see a Salamiri. Salamiri from the Heir to the Empire trilogy is a creature that negates the Force. I feel like this is tailor-made for the Ahsoka series and is a trump card that Thrawn can play in a sort of way of almost like entrapping her. And so I'm going to go the real on this one for the
I'll go real on that. It is a nice little thing, even though they're described as basically large space iguanas.
Yeah,
that's a little. Hopefully they'll fancy them up a little bit.
And to be more specific, they negate the Force, but it's like a bubble. And so in the books, what ends up happening is Thrawn like wears one on like a backpack, and it kind of. It almost like encapsulates him so that Luke or, it was really just Luke couldn't use any sort of Force powers on him.
Yeah.
Which was just a totally different concept for that time. And again, made Thrawn, that much more of a threat. Number 10, again, Heir to the Empire nod. Will we see Joruus C'baoth?
Jabroni.
Going Jabroni? All
yes,
right.
Please, no.
All right. I'm going to go Jabroni on this one too. It seems like with Ray Stevenson's character, and I have her name down here. Let me just jump down. Where are they? Ivana Sakno, who plays Shin Hati. It seems like we have already kind of the evil Force users, so it just feels like a little overloaded to have Joruus at this point.
If anything, that would be down the road. I would like to see that maybe somewhere else and see the take on that, but not here. It's getting crowded already.
Yeah. Number 11, we will see one or more. All right, I want to call that out because this is an important distinction. Not just one of them, but one or more of Han Solo, Lando Calrissian, or Princess Leia.
Man. Well, the tough thing is, like, are they going to... So, okay, again, looking at timeline, are you going to de-age Harrison Ford? Are you going to bring,
They did 20 minutes of it for Indiana Jones.
I know, but I heard it was bad.
That's the thing. I'm going to go the real on this one.
Really?
I think it would be an interesting nod to do one of them. So this is one or more. It doesn't have to be all of them, just one of them, but it could be multiple.
No, I'm going to go Jabroni.
All right. He's thinking. Yeah. He's thinking.
Nope.
All right. Number 12 for in or out. Will we see Luke Skywalker? I'm actually going to go Jabroni on this one.
Really?
So here's my thought behind it. So we saw Ahsoka with Luke in Mando. Right? That's been done. Okay. I'm thinking to throw a bone to the fans, to throw a little some nostalgia at them, a little something different. It would be interesting to see one of those three, or maybe more than one of those three, of Han, Lando, or Leia. We've already seen Luke, and she's already had, and we know he's on this planet. We know he's kind of starting his Jedi school that he's building out, so he's probably not going to be in the equation, is my thinking. Now I could see another point of view where he is part of it, but for me, I feel like if I'm playing the odds here, they've already played the Luke card. The prior question would be something different.
I'm going real.
Gonna go real. All right.
This is getting interesting. Normally, we have like one disagreement, and this whole thing rides on like 3 or 4.
I
and
know.
We've already got our 3 or 4 different answers here, so I'm digging this.
This is good stuff, my friend. All right, last one, and this is an interesting one. Will we see Zeb Aurelios?
Real.
All right.
We're gonna see the whole Ghost crew. It's gonna happen.
Absolutely. Getting the band back together.
Karabast.
All right. Next section I called Better Than Ezra.
Very nice. Nicely done.
Thank you, sir. Number 14. Ezra Bridger will have turned to the dark side.
Jabroni.
Really? I'm going to go the real on this one. And here's my reasoning behind it. And it goes to Ahsoka's motivation. She's trying to find Ezra. And Ezra has, now I haven't seen all of Rebels, but for the most part, I know he goes through somewhat of a journey, kind of tangles with the dark side a little bit. But I think it would make it an interesting kind of twist to turn Ahsoka into more of a redemption story for him. That being with, having gone to the outer regions, being with Thrawn, he gets corrupted. And from what I've read, there's precedent for him potentially going down a corruptive path because of prior events that happen in Rebels. He gets pulled back from that because of Janice mostly, but now without Janice, Jairus, he's on his own. So I'm thinking it's not as simple as Ahsoka just finding him. It's that she finds him, but he's in a state. Well, we'll get to some of the other ones as well, possibly even fighting him because of the corrupt nature that he's in. So I'm going to run with an Ezra is corrupted sort of approach here and say real on this one. Which leads us to the next question, which I'll answer as a real. Number 15, Thrawn and Ezra are working together.
Jabroni.
All right. I'm kind of looking at it as they left as enemies. They came back as allies.
I mean, to me, it becomes too many bad guys. Like you've got to, even if Ezra is,
you can redeem one, you can't redeem the other. Thrawn is not going to be redemptive.
But then you've
Ezra
also got these
be.
other evil Force users and whatnot. I just feel like it's too much.
Okay. All right. Number 16, Ezra fights Ahsoka.
I mean, I'll go real on this because I think there could be something going on there. Yeah.
All right. And then number 17, last one of this section, Sabine, who we see with a lightsaber. We've seen this in the trailer. Sabine has a lightsaber. She's undergoing some training with Ahsoka. Sabine rescues Ezra. So this one's interesting because I'm saying it's Sabine who rescues Ezra, not Ahsoka.
I mean, are we talking ultimately or just at some point during the series there is a rescue where Sabine saves Ezra?
Well,
this could happen. I mean, there's many twists and turns.
I didn't say saves here. I said rescues him. So
rescues.
Physically rescues him.
Okay, but that could happen at any point during in the season. Are we talking like this isn't like an overall like at the very end? Like this could be at any point.
No. This has nothing to do with the end. This is at some point.
No, I'll go real.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go real as well. All right. So normally we have a section called "What's Up with That." I decided to give a little twist on it and call it "What's Up with Thrawn." Now this is getting to the heart of like what is his motivation? What is he doing? Now we know based on what Ahsoka said, he wants to become heir to the Empire. Got it. But this gets into some of the nitty gritty of what is really driving him. So number 18. Thrawn is seeking Mount Tantus. So he's not only coming back from the outer regions, but he is seeking Mount Tantus specifically.
Real.
All right.
I don't think he's going to get there. I think that we'll find out that is part of the motivation.
Yep. I'm going to go real as well. Now, this gets a little more specific. So he's seeking Mount Tantus. Number 19. Thrawn's plan after returning is to restart cloning at Mount Tantus. Real or jabroni?
I mean, it kind of would make sense. Yeah, I'll go real. Why not?
Okay. I'm going to go real as well. My thinking here is I'm viewing Ahsoka as kind of like a precursor to the Filoni film which is, if it's going to be heir to the Empire, tease up the fact that he's going to start doing this, which is something that the reader of the books wasn't aware of until I think the second book or third book, potentially. No, I think it's the second book, because he finds the Katana fleet and takes the Katana fleet because he has the army ready to man it.
Yeah.
So I feel like it makes sense that if this series deals with his return, and let's say he finds his goal, that he's going to basically the purpose. Like I almost liken it to like what we saw with Andor. Like at the end of Andor, we saw that all those like stupid parts that they were building in the prison were all part of the Death Star. And I feel like him finding Tantus may be the goal, but when we see at the very end, he's going to start cloning stormtroopers basically, which is leading to something else, which comes with the next thing, Yeah. So, all right, number 20. Man, not bad. We're at an hour and 10, my friend, and we're at number 20 already.
I know. Let's keep the speed up, sir.
All right. Thrawn's master plan is to return the Empire to prominence. Real or jabroni?
I think it's going to be the stated goal in this. I don't think it's the ultimate goal that we'll find out later, but I think that's his stated goal here.
So
within the context of the series, yes, it's real.
Okay.
Overall, however, I think that it's going to be closer in line to what we saw throughout the book series, where I think his ultimate goal is to protect his people.
Gotcha. I'm going to go the real as well in that one.
So actually, I think it's going to, in this series, 20 will be the goal, but I think ultimately 21 is going to be further down the line.
Okay. And number 21 is Thrawn's master plan is to prepare for an invasion from an unknown. Oh, I guess I've been saying outer region. It's unknown regions. Unknown region threat. Grisk or the Yuzan Vong.
Jabroni. But like I said, I think down the line, we're going to find that's a lot closer.
Yeah. I do think there's something to him. And I'm not saying this is kind of a pattern with series now, but I think it would be an interesting journey for his character in a live action setting if he starts out as the primary villain, but like you said, there's kind of there's an undertone to what he's really trying to do, which is to protect his people. And really what the Screen Rant article talks about is maybe he comes back as someone who tries to unite the Republic and the Empire to face this larger threat. And I kind of find that concept interesting because it's a little bit of a departure from the books.
Yeah.
But I think they could do something where for a time he is the main villain, the main heel, which is something we haven't seen. He'll be a different kind of a bad guy than we've seen before.
Certainly.
And let him have that run, but then, have him almost have like a redemptive sort of thing because of, like you said, his motivation is around his culture and his people. And that has been firmly established throughout the books. So I think that'd be kind of interesting. But number 22, Thrawn is beginning his quest to find the Katana fleet. Do you think we're going to get the Katana fleet here?
Well, I don't know, because wasn't the Katana fleet sort of like what they tried to do in Rise of Skywalker?
Well,
essentially, wasn't that the Katana fleet, just not the Katana fleet?
Well, it wasn't the Katana fleet because the story behind the Katana fleet is they were essentially a fleet of ships created by the Republic as a defensive kind of failsafe for the Republic. And then there was a virus that spread throughout the crew. They jumped all the ships away. They didn't know where they were.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
And so for Rise of Skywalker, I think it lines up more with something I brought up, I think, last episode with Knights of the Old Republic, where they talked about this thing called the Star Forge. And I think like that wasn't mentioned in Rise of Skywalker, but there was a thought behind it from fans that the Star Forge was what the Emperor was using to build out that fleet of ships. So you're right in the sense that the scale of that fleet is something that rivals the Katana fleet. I don't think it was the Katana fleet though. But I also think, given what we talked about, where it makes more sense that in this series, if you think about it, Mount Tantus is probably a reasonable goal for Thrawn to set for himself within the confines of this series, as opposed to, I think the Katana fleet is something that Filoni's probably keeping close to the vest for the movie.
That would make a lot more sense.
Yeah.
So therefore,
I'm going to go Jabroni on that.
I will join you on that one.
All right. All right. Let's see. Number 23. This one's interesting. Thrawn will use Salamiri to trap Ahsoka. I'm going to go the real on this one.
I mean, you would have to, in a way. It's either Ahsoka or Ezra. I mean, otherwise, what's the point of having the little critters?
Oh, that's a good one I didn't think of. That Ezra's trapped because of the Salamiri.
Could be.
Because I think that's a great way to bring, like, in the Heir to the Empire books, I don't know that they ever really talk about how Thrawn came upon the Salamiri. He just seems to have them.
Aren't they native to the planet that has Mount Tantus? Because they had those other the force sensitive creatures there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know what? I don't remember.
I
exactly.
thought for sure.
Okay.
I think there is some sort of explanation. I just can't remember what it is right now.
Yeah.
Of course, it's now 10:22 here on the East Coast, so I mean, I don't remember much. I don't even remember what I had for lunch today.
No, you did have the lucky pigeon.
Oh,
and then the 5 words that followed.
Yeah, that was dessert.
Oh, very nice. Well, I'm going the real on this one. Are you going to go the real?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Hour and 14 in, we have our first Jimmy Dice reference. There we go.
How did we not get Jimmy Dice in on this? This is a egregious oversight on our part.
I don't know.
It's probably a good thing considering how busy his schedule is, and just the dumpster fire that is my schedule.
The Scruffies do their own true or false. So
yeah.
I don't, I mean, at some point we could ask him if he wants to join, I'm sure.
It would be gimmick infringement, honestly.
Kind of. Yeah. Quite honestly. Number 24, Thrawn has harnessed the power of the Purgles.
Wait, what the hell are the Purgles again? Aren't those things?
The space whales, dude. What the heck?
Oh, no, because I couldn't. Thank you.
Figured.
So for whatever reason, I was thinking Purgles, and I was thinking about those little bird things on Luke's island there.
Gotcha.
I can't remember. Oh, those are Porgs. Oh, he's into the seltzer now, ladies and gentlemen.
Seltzer. I might go to the bourbon again. We'll see.
I'm sure. And go for the fifth one. Yeah, baby.
I'm working from home tomorrow, so I don't have to catch the early train. So,
Do it.
That's right. Yeah. Come on, give me a yeah.
Hang on. See, I've got enough screen real estate. I got to
yeah, there it is.
I've got to try and find these things.
Oh, very nice.
I'm half awake. No, I don't think he's harnessed the power of the Purgles.
All right. Yeah, this one's kind of a crapshoot, long shot. This one I came up just for Uncle Todd. Thrawn will ride a Purgle. I'm going to go Jabroni on this one, but I just thought it was really funny to bring up. So,
is this how they're going to compete with Dune? So
maybe
instead of riding a sandworm, he's going to ride a Purgle.
But specifically, it's Thrawn who's riding the Purgle, not some underling under him. It's Thrawn riding a Purgle. Maybe that's how he comes back. He's like, I mean, I can't do it justice. You did about 3 or 4 episodes. You did a phenomenal Buck and Bronco sort of routine with Thrawn on the Purgle. So I can't even come close to that. So.
I'm downstairs and I'm trying not to wake up my family. So I'm going to, I'll forgo that. No, that's a jabroni.
That's a jabroni. All right.
Yeah, it's a paddling.
That's paddling. All right, last one from What's Up with Thrawn. Number 26, Purgles will once again whisk a character away to the unknown regions.
I'm going to go real on this. I could see Sabine finding herself a space whale.
Very nice. Very nice. I'm going to go the real as well. I have a feeling you're going to go to that well again. So
sure.
So we're about halfway through, sir. Not too bad. Not too shabby. We're an hour and 17.
In the infamous words of Han Solo, don't get cocky, kid.
Well, I am a little bit. All right. Our next section is called, we had What's Up with Thrawn. We're going to have What's Up with Ahsoka. Number 27, Anakin is guiding Ahsoka through this journey. So the whole idea being, she's on this path, she's on this mission, and Anakin is essentially kind of guiding her. And I guess the way to liken it to is what Obi-Wan was to Luke. So throughout the movies, Obi-Wan was like a guide to Luke, appearing at crucial times, giving him kind of advice, that sort of thing. I'm basically saying Anakin is going to play that role now for Ahsoka in this series. Real or jabroni?
Jabroni.
All right.
I think it's going to be an antagonistic relationship.
Really? I'm going to go real. I'm going real on this one, baby. I'm going real.
Well, yeah, you've also had half a bottle of bourbon. I mean, of course you're saying real.
I'm feeling good about this.
You're feeling good in general.
No, I am. I can't lie. Can't lie. Number 20. Number 28. We will see a flashback. Hey, Bill Brosky. Let me tell you about Bill Moody, by the way.
Oh, please.
Oh, good Lord. Number 28. We will see a flashback to Anakin and Ahsoka. Real or jabroni? I'm going the real on this one.
Oh, gosh, it's tempting, isn't it? Yeah, I'll go real. Why not?
All right. Number 29. Ahsoka finds Ezra. And I want to hone in on specifically she finds Ezra, because there's a bit of a wild card in here because Sabine seems to be on a path too. So
yeah, I hang on a second here.
What was that?
Oh no. Die, you little sucker.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Uncle Todd is engaged in hand-to-hand combat with, I believe, an insect.
I have won.
I was going to say, he stunned him, and then I believe he needed to apply a stone cold stunner just to make sure he was done good.
So let me hang on a second. I gotta get something. Hang on.
All right. I think we might have some carnage here, ladies and gentlemen. There may be some cleanup in aisle 3.
All right.
Maybe some cleanup in aisle 3, ladies and gentlemen. Here, good Lord. Oh my God.
There it is.
Wow.
He's got
his prey.
My trophy.
Right there in front of the camera.
And
his trophy.
There we go. That little sucker's been flying around here for about the last half hour. I've been waiting for him to make his mistake, and he landed right on my microphone.
Really? Really?
And I smote him.
You did.
All right. Where were we? Ahsoka finds Ezra. I hate to put all my eggs in the Sabine basket, but I kind of have this feeling that Sabine is going to be the one to find Ezra. So I'm going to go jabroni.
Really? All right. Let's see. I'm going to go the real on this one because she's going to find Ezra.
Mm-hmm.
But number 30, Ahsoka saves Ezra. I'm going to go jabroni on that one because I already said Sabine will save him. So she may find him, locate him, but Sabine will be the one that saves him. That's what I'm saying. What say you, sir?
That's nice. You got any soup over there that you can, maybe some spaghetti?
No, just a little seltzer. That's all.
I'm
feeling good, by the way.
I know you're feeling good. Making me wish that I was drinking heavy now. Trying to wade through these damn things. Let's see here. I'm tempted to go. I'm going to go jabroni.
All right. I just want to point out. Okay.
I'm going to have my cake and eat it too here.
You're consistent because when you say Sabine rescues Ezra, you said the real. So you are staying consistent. I will give you that, sir. I will give you that.
I'm regretting 29 a little bit. I should have gone real on that, but you know what? It's like in chess. I took my hand off the piece. I'm going to live with the consequences.
All right. Well, that ends our section. What's up with Ahsoka? So now we get into another section called Nobody Expects the Jedi Inquisition.
Oh my gosh! So I might need to take a bourbon break here if we're going to keep doing this.
There is a scene in the trailers where we see someone masked wielding what looks to be an Inquisitor-like lightsaber.
Yes.
Okay. So that is where these next 4 come from.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is number 31. The Inquisitor Ahsoka fights is in a flashback. Real or jabroni?
I'm going to go real. Because I think that would dovetail in with... Well, I don't know.
I'm going to go jabroni.
Wait a minute, because, okay, so we're post Return of the Jedi.
Mm-hmm. The trick here is
a
flashback could come into play regardless, right? Like she could be having a moment where she's contemplating something and she thinks back.
No, I'm gonna go real.
All right, I'm going jabroni. Number 32, the Inquisitor. All right, so this character is Barriss Offee, and I believe this is a character from Rebels, maybe the Clone Wars. Actually, I'm sorry, it might be Clone Wars, where they have betrayed the Jedi. And what I've read in, I believe it was both the movie web and the Screen Rant theories here, is the thought that maybe they bring this character back in live action to redeem them, because apparently they had a hand in the Jedi's fall during the Clone Wars. But the thought here is maybe the Inquisitor is this character, so they haven't redeemed themselves. They are an evil character. So real or jabroni?
I'm gonna go jabroni. I don't know who this is, so
this seems a little far-fetched to me. But
yeah, it's a little bit of over the river through the woods to me.
I mean, if we apply a wrestling sort of thing to this, Barriss Offee to me is in some ways like a Barry Horowitz. You know what I mean?
He's a jobber.
But name value doesn't mean a whole lot to me.
Which an Inquisitor shouldn't be.
Yeah. Now, number 33 is more interesting to me.
This one I'm actually going to go real on. Although I should have let you read it first.
And I'm going to go with the real as well. The Inquisitor is Mara Jade.
That would be an excellent way to introduce her.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Oh my
Should
gosh.
I?
I'll tell you what. How about this? Hold off for just a minute. We'll go through this one question. Then I need to take a bathroom break, and I might perhaps procure a little.
I might take a bathroom break as well
to get through the next 20 or so here.
All right, last one, number 34 of Nobody Inspects the Jedi Inquisition. The Inquisitor is Ezra Bridger.
Jabroni.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to go the same. I don't think that's how he's going to be introduced.
No.
All right. Shall we take a break here, sir?
Yes, I think we're well overdue for a break. So we will adjourn our adjudication for a few moments, and we will return.
Absolutely. So we are 34 into this, my friend. And,
don't start jinxing this shit, sir. Let's just.
I'm talking smack, baby, all the way. Actually, before I do, there it is. What are you drinking tonight?
This is Weller Special Reserve, green label.
Nice. I am taking part in Two Brothers small batch bourbon whiskey. Two Brothers is a local microbrewer here in the Chicagoland area, and they also have a bourbon whiskey that they put out. So it's quite delightful. All right. Are you ready, sir? So we are 34 into it. I haven't counted up how many differences we have. We have a number of them, I believe.
Much more than usual. Much more
than usual. There's a lot that can happen here.
All right. Now that I've been braced with a bit of a sustenance.
Oh, pardon me. There we go. All right.
Oh, that's lovely. I'm leaving that in. All right, sir. Here we go. Where are we at? We're at number 35.
Yeah, so we're in a new section called this is the staple of the free range idiocy, Real and Jabroni. What's with that? What's up with that? All right, number 35. This is a lot of this is going to be based around the world between worlds, and this is a concept that was introduced, I believe, in Clone Wars. And we'll get into this a little bit. But number 35, the world between worlds deals with time travel.
Gosh, I'm so at a loss for this because I think I only know about this via Rebels, and I don't remember them dealing with it too much. I'm gonna go Jabroni. I don't think it's true time travel. I think you can deal with people, you can interact with people of different times, but it doesn't mean that you're necessarily traveling through time yourself.
Yeah. I'm going to go the same. I'm going to go Jabroni.
All right.
Number 36. This one's interesting. The world between worlds deals with different realities. I'm going to go the real on this one.
I'm going to go Jabroni just out of principle because I don't want to see a multiversal Star Wars. Right. I just don't. That's like the new thing for everybody, and I'm just I don't want it. So it might cost me some points here, but I'm going wishful thinking on this one.
Sounds good. Number 37. The world between worlds is connected to Thrawn's plans. Real or Jabroni?
I mean,
what makes it interesting is we know, I forget her name, but there's the character, the governess from Mando, who Ahsoka faces and defeats, where she asks really the game-changing question that brought the possibility of Grand Admiral Thrawn into the live-action world. She is in one of the trailers with Ray Stevenson's character and the other characters. So I'm not saying the answer is yes here. She could be using it as a way to contact him, but nonetheless, she's there using whatever this is. If the world between worlds is even the term they use. So, is it connected to Thrawn's plans? Real or Jabroni?
So here's the thing. If Timothy Zahn was writing this, it totally would be, because everything is part of Thrawn's plans in Timothy Zahn's sense, because he books Thrawn like Hulk Hogan was booked by Vince McMahon back in the day, just squash match after squash match. I don't think so. I think it'll be used around him, but I don't think it'll directly be part of his plans.
All right. I'm going to go the real.
Of course you will.
Of course I will. All right, number 38. Balin Skoll, who will be played by the late Ray Stevenson, and Shin Hati, who will be played by Ivana Sakno, are connected to Thrawn's plans. These are the two orange lightsaber wielding characters that we see in the trailers. Are they connected to Thrawn's plans, or are they just off on their own mission?
I think even if they're wild cards, they're part of Thrawn's plan, honestly. So I'm going to go the real.
I'm going to go the real as well. We talked about Barriss Offee. So this is a character who betrayed the Jedi, helped with their downfall, I believe, in Clone Wars. And this is introducing this character in the live action with a redemptive arc. Real or Jabroni?
Gosh, I don't friggin' know.
I'm going to go Jabroni because I honestly don't know enough about this character. Why would they even bring it up? Honestly.
Which is all the more reason that they might, but I'm going to go Jabroni too, just because I feel like we're getting a real crowded slate here. There's only so much you can introduce.
Threw this one in, just for the sake of argument. The Chimera, which is Thrawn's ship, will be involved in a battle.
I'm going to go real.
All right. I, too, am going to go the real. I think it'd be kind of cool to see that. All right. We're getting close to the end section here. The last well, not the last section, the second to last section, because Uncle Todd decided to introduce his own section.
You know what? If I've got to sit through all of this, I'm having my own damn section at the end of this thing.
Fair enough. All right. This is a section that we like to call When the Man Comes Around. All right. Number 41. Ahsoka.
Hello, I'm Johnny Cash.
Hello, I'm Johnny Cash. Number 41. Ahsoka will die.
Jabroni.
Really?
And I'm saying that just purely out of selfish conceit. I am loving Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
love Rosario Dawson and whatever she does. Like literally, Rosario Dawson could be like, you know, playing a traffic officer in some movie. I'll be like, it was brilliant. So it's totally selfish. I'm not even saying that I'm using the logical part of my brain with this.
Okay. All right.
And Tim, because he wants everyone to die, is going to be real on all these.
Damn right, baby. Down with her. No. Here's my thought process, because if the end goal is to bring Ezra back and let's say he is in a dark place and, you know, she helps redeem him. In a lot of ways, she's like that Obi-Wan character, you know, and Obi-Wan dies. And so I'm wondering if this is a story, even though it's Ahsoka's story, if it is kind of the tale of the end for her, but through her end, it is a beginning or a renewal of Ezra. And we start to establish Ezra as kind of one of the key, you know, Jedi moving forward, along with Sabine.
I mean, the thing is, like, it's a well-worn path, and it totally makes sense because Obi-Wan sacrificed to save Luke. Anakin sacrifices to save Luke.
Yeah.
Who the hell else? Didn't everyone die to save Luke? I mean, like, now that I'm thinking about it, like, Luke is turning into the Matt Damon character here, where it's like, how much money do we have to spend to continue to save Matt Damon from these increasingly precarious positions?
Yes, suspect.
Yeah. Retainer. That's what we need from Matt Damon now. Anytime he does a movie, like, are we going to have to go save you now? Like, where are we going to have to go? The outer regions?
Yeah.
That would actually be the best. Is if Matt Damon played a character if Matt Damon was Ezra Bridger, because then I'd be like, of course we have to go to the outer regions. We've already had to go to that one planet in Interstellar, Mars.
Unknown regions. I
unknown
made that
regions.
same mistake. I mean, that's
whatever. The outer rim, unknown regions. The
rim.
Yeah. Anyways, so here's the thing. I see that. And of course, then Kanan Jarrus dies to save Ezra, and Luke Skywalker dies so that Rey can live. It's been done. It's been done to death. That's also a reason why I kind of feel like, even though it makes sense, it's one of those deals where it's like, oh my gosh, why does every master have to die? Well, I mean, shoot, Qui-Gon died to save Obi-Wan. You know, it's like, why does this have to be the thing? And I'm hoping Filoni can kind of at least go, no, it doesn't always have to be this way.
Can I quote a much beloved series of this show? What has happened before will happen again.
Yep. I get it. All this has happened before. All this will happen again. You know, It doesn't have to, though.
All right. So Jabroni for Uncle Todd, real for the man they call Tim. Number 42, Sabine will die.
You want to just call this like the Godfather section, because this is literally
when the man comes around. It's the Grim Reaper, baby. Who's fallen here?
This is like
down?
Literally the last 10 minutes of the Godfather, when I have taken care of all family business.
That's right. Heads of the 5 families, squaring it all away, baby.
I renounce him. You know, do the eye and this guy's getting garroted, and Sabine will die.
I'm going Jabroni on this.
I'm going Jabroni. I'll tell you right now, I'm going Jabroni on the next 3.
All right. Jabroni. All right. So number 43, Hera will die.
Jabroni. No, I need more Mary Elizabeth Winstead in my life.
I'm with you. I don't think it's her time. Ezra will die. Number 44. Jabroni. See, and you thought we wouldn't fly through some of these. Vindicated, baby.
Yeah,
vindicated.
Like we fly through 3, and Tim's like, see, we just breezed right through. Meanwhile, we're chewing up time heading towards hour 2.
All right. Number 45, Baylan and Shin will be defeated. Really, Jabroni?
I'm going to go Jabroni. One of them has to make it.
I'm thinking the same thing. And hopefully for their sake, they picked Ray Stevenson, because I mean, not to make light of his death, but you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's one of those things that, and it's really a shame because, I said this to Uncle Todd, like, as a player of Star Wars: The Old Republic, he looks an awful lot like one of the characters from this storyline that they have called the Eternal Empire. And I mean, it's uncanny. Like if I take a screen, I need to take a screenshot and send it to you because it really is uncanny how much he looks like him. I really hope they don't put all their eggs in his basket because that's going to be very awkward moving forward.
What did he? I mean, he wasn't ill. Like it wasn't like a long sickness or anything.
It was a sudden thing. It was not a, like,
I mean, not that one's better than the other, but it is one of those things sometimes where I feel like you're a little bit out of the loop and you're like, whoa, okay. And people are like, oh my God, you see all the tributes and you're like, what? I'm so out of the loop.
Yeah. This next one I'm going to go the real on. Number 46, Ahsoka will complete Sabine's training as a Jedi.
I'm going Jabroni only because we are talking about the context of this series. I don't see the training being completed here. I could see this being almost an Empire Strikes Back.
If you will.
Yeah, like an Empire Strikes Back thing. Like you're not done with your training, but there's stuff that's got to be done.
Gotcha.
That sort of thing.
Number 47, Thrawn will succeed in starting to rebuild the Empire.
I mean, otherwise, how are we going to get to heir of the Empire? He's got to at least get rolling a little bit.
No, maybe he gets in a little bit of trouble. Who knows?
Well, I mean,
maybe he's trying to unite everyone. Can't we all just get along? I could see that. And then he slays them all. He smotes them like you smoted the fly.
Maybe you shouldn't have had that fifth double of bourbon tonight.
That's a good point. Point taken, sir. Point taken, sir. Number 48, Thrawn will have a conversation with Mon Mothma. Now, this solely comes from me, but when I saw in the trailer that there was that hologram of the different, what I believe to be the different New Republic leaders, and we see Mon Mothma, who is like the constant through all of the Star Wars content now, because she's part of the original trilogy. She's, present, it seems. Well, I guess she's not really present for the post-Queel trilogy, now that I'm thinking about it, but she's part of Andor. She's there with, Clone Wars and so forth. I thought it'd be kind of cool for them to have a back and forth, not that they're face to face, but that there's just a communication between the two of them, as kind of like a table setting sort of thing. Like, I'm here, the Empire is not going away, and I'm coming. And I thought it'd be kind of a cool thing. So I'm going to go the real on this one. I just think it'd be kind of a cool thing to involve that character in with the Thrawn character. And she is part of the Heir to the Empire trilogy books because she is essentially one of the key leaders of the New Republic throughout those books. And Thrawn doesn't deal with her directly, but I think it'd be kind of a cool point to have those two, like longtime stalwarts of both sides be kind of involved in a conversation. What do you think, sir?
I was going to go the Jabroni, but you kind of talked me into it. It does make sense.
Dang right, baby. Dang right. All right. Number 49, Thrawn will succeed in uniting the Imperial Remnant and New Republic for the coming invasion. This is all about the Grisk or the Yuzong Vong as the the unknown region invaders. if we're going with Thrawn as kind of a hero of sorts to try to unite them. I'm going to go Jabroni on this one because I do not think this is what his role is going to be.
No, Jabroni.
All right. And now I have not read this yet. This is my first time reading Uncle Todd's contribution to the real or the Jabroni Ahsoka edition. Here we go. Number 50. The Uncle Todd super special bonus question. Number 50. At least 4 people listened to this whole episode with fast forwarding?
Oh, without. Sorry.
Oh, you can't even write the dang.
I typed it really quick. Okay, it's been a long damn day.
Lord.
Don't make me reach through this screen, sir. Don't make me do it.
Got a few bourbons in me. What can I say?
I know. It's nice. It's kind of nice to be on the opposite side of this and just watching someone else just devolve in front of me.
All right.
I usually get to watch this. I have not yet begun to defile myself.
Indeed. You going Jabroni or real on this one, sir?
I'm going Jabroni. Ain't nobody. People have been fast forwarding this whole time. But we appreciate you at least make it to the end.
Wait a minute. How are we going to prove this?
Well, here's the thing. If you,
I'm going to go the real. Damn it.
If you indeed listen to this show. And you did not fast forward once. You listened to every single moment every single little bit of it right up until right now, and you do not fast forward once, I want you to email tim@freerangeidiocy.com. And if Tim gets 4 emails, because as we know, the members of this show are excluded. If he gets 4 emails, then he is correct. And if no one emails Tim, then I'm correct.
All right.
And you have to produce the emails. This can't be from somebody from, like a totally.
I think I can just say I got 4 emails, man, and boom, there we have it.
No, I need proof.
Boom. All right.
I need receipts.
You need receipts.
I do.
Come on now.
All right, folks. Well, that is it. And I got to be quite honest with you. I am shocked that we are still under the 2-hour mark right now.
Come on. Give me some props, baby. I told you this was going to fly. I told you it was going to fly. Boom.
You know what? You are correct to a degree. It flew in terms of the fact that we're not at 4 hours, but it's still been a weight on my soul. Anyways, so there we have it. And we'll be I'm going to be turning around and editing this real quick and getting it up for Wednesday. So hopefully folks are going to get a chance to listen to this before Ahsoka goes live. But if not, it'll be fun after the first 2 episodes, because we get 2 episodes on Wednesday the 23rd. So that'll be fun, if nothing else. And yeah, that's what we think. Put a stamp on it. Boom. Guaranteed money in the bank. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Thank you, LA.
And another thing.
All right, sir. What have you got for and another thing this week? Because I noticed that there is nothing. Oh, look at you. You managed to type that in real quick, didn't you?
Boom.
Yeah, I was searching for a sound bite and you stuck it in there.
Damn tootin', baby. I'm prepared. Actually, right now, and this was inspired by Picard Season 3, my wife and I are going through a rewatch. We're kind of toggling between 2 shows. We're watching some Will and Grace because that show is hysterical if you've never seen it before. But we're also watching Star Trek: The Next Generation, and so we're in Season 2 right now.
Those are 2 very different shows. Oh. How's that toggling work?
Well, it helps because there's just some evenings where you want something light and funny and not heavyweight.
Which is when you watch Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Good God, man. I need another co-host. I don't agree with this. Who is this person?
Where's Jimmy Dice?
I know, no kidding. And then the loins are girded for something a little more heavy. And so the look on Uncle Todd's face is priceless.
I'll gird your loins. Oh, wait, I won't. No, never mind. Forget I said that.
Good Lord. Anyways, we are rewatching Star Trek.
Is there a YouTube tutorial on how to gird your loins?
Probably. There's this YouTube video for everything, it seems.
That is true.
Oh my goodness. But we are rewatching Star Trek: The Next Generation. We're on Season 2. So we're trying to get to Season 3 where things get really good, and that's where the good storytelling, takes off. But no, I would just recommend for those who are, maybe fans of the most recent Star Trek content to go back to that series. Try to muscle through the first 2 seasons. They are a little rough. They are a little cheesy, not of the highest quality, but if you can get through them and get into Season 3 and beyond, you will be rewarded. It is a fantastic series. And it's just, it's comfort viewing for me. I really enjoy it. The entire cast, phenomenal. And it is just a joy to watch. So Star Trek: The Next Generation, I'm just going to throw that out there as a oldie, but a goodie. And definitely check it out if you have not before, because you will understand why, as we've discussed with the 3 seasons of Picard, the former cast and crew are as beloved as they are. So that is my and another thing. You, sir, what is your and another thing?
Well, first of all, I want to second your assessment of Star Trek TNG, beloved as well. That was my Star Trek growing up, and also yes, there are several instructional videos on how to gird your loins on YouTube, and I'm going to link to one of them in the show notes, just in case you're wondering how you would go about doing such a thing.
Actually, before you take off, I just want to mention this because this is worth repeating or at least enunciating. Unlike series now where it's like 10, 12 episodes per season, Star Trek The Next Generation, 22, 25 episodes per season. So it is.
Yeah, it's the old school TV schedule.
Old school. It is old school TV viewing. Just want to.
And those were not cheap episodes. I mean, I think the budget for those was about $1 million a piece, which at the time, that's gigantic money.
I gotta say, I mean, even though seasons 1 and 2 are considered to not be the best, I gotta tell you, it is really interesting to see the end of season 1 and start to watch season 2 back to back and see the difference in quality visually of it, because man, they must have got a budget bump or something, because there's a whole lot more interesting stuff going on visually there than there was in the first season.
I want to also say, I think there was something that happened in between those 2 seasons where there was some sort of like, it was one of those times like when you remember back when like they did the Michael Jackson video and that was the first time they did the morphing between faces and all that stuff, and they could do that, and that was a huge deal. And there was these certain things that all of a sudden they could do that then opened up all these different things. I want to say that in some sort of documentary or interview that I was watching, they talked about that. At some point in the Next Generation series, they hit this point and they're like, oh, wait a minute, we can do this and this and this now. And it's available. Like, instead of being like, oh, you need a supercomputer to do it, it's like, no, you can do this on a laptop, or not a laptop, but like a desktop.
Nice.
But I seem to remember that, but if I can find it,
season
more
one
than
is so bad special effects wise. I mean, you can tell they're using some like Sheiky's set on his house property or something like that. It's awful. It's just so bad.
And
so bad.
There's a lot of like Hollywood backlot sort of don't touch the background, it'll shake sort of thing.
Admittedly, I kind of cribbed this based on Uncle Todd's and Another Thing. Thought I would keep in theme, but you, sir, what is your and Another Thing? Because I believe it's in line with.
It is. I'm a huge fan of the new Star Trek products that have come out. I'm actually a little disappointed we haven't gotten a new episode, the final season of Star Trek Discovery, but I think it's coming up here. Love Star Trek Discovery partially because it really pissed off a lot of Star Trek fans, which I'm always a fan of. I love that. But Star Trek Strange New Worlds season 2, I was one of my earlier and Another Things. We recently just got the season finale of season 2, and whoo boy, it's a good one. And kind of unexpected. There was a point where I was like, oh, and surely we're coming to the end of the episode here, and this is going to be the cliffhanger, And no, they go further, and then you get to another point where it's even more threatening. That becomes the cliffhanger, where I'm like, now is kind of interesting. I kind of didn't see that coming. Sort of thing. So the entire season is excellent, and I really appreciate how Strange New Worlds is this fun mixture of, to me, the Next Generation, but also the original series, where it's very much episode of the week sort of thing. But also there's in keeping with how we expect television or streaming or shows to be now, there's also long story arcs that kind of go over the entire season or multiple seasons. And they managed to pull that off very deftly. And the last time I really remember seeing something that good that I felt pulled that off was the Matt Smith Doctor Who seasons. Where there's overriding themes that they would come back to, but then they could still within that do like a Monster of the Week episode, and it's a self-contained episode, and those things. And I think Strange New Worlds has done that, and I really enjoy this cast, and the fact that they can do so much, and they can do comedy, they can do drama, they can do all kinds of stuff, and I'm just a huge fan of it. The second to last episode was a musical, which was phenomenal. And there's actually like a Trekkie science reason for them doing an entire episode that is a musical. It is lovely. It is wonderful. It is great. But the finale was tremendous. So if you're not on the next the Strange New Worlds bandwagon, which I know that the man they call Tim isn't, he needs to get on this now instead of rewatching.
Get through Rebels first before I start watching another series. Good Lord.
What you need to do is you need to put a pause on Next Generation, and you need to watch the 20 episodes of the first 2 seasons of Strange New Worlds. You will love it, sir. Actually, you don't need to watch Discovery. I mean, Pike, so of course Strange New Worlds is kind of the tales of the Enterprise before, Captain Kirk. So you have Captain Pike. And they introduce Spock, Pike, and number 1, Rebecca Romijn's character in Star Trek Discovery. But I don't think you necessarily need to see that. I would also highly recommend Star Trek Discovery, though, because it's fantastic. But Strange New Worlds is great. It's great fun. It's fun to binge. Like I've done a couple of times when I've watched like 2-3 episodes in a row, and it's just so much fun and also really well done. So big thumbs up, big recommendation on that one.
Nice.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, my bourbon glass is almost empty, so that must mean the episode's over. So thank you for joining us. Thank you to all the members of the Free Range.
I've emptied it thrice, so
I know, thrice. You can't even count. That was at least twice, whatever 5 would be.
I've not yet begun to defile myself.
Oh my gosh, he is just barely hanging on to that chair, ladies and gentlemen.
Let me talk to you.
I'm pretty sure the man they call Tim has a seatbelt on that thing, because otherwise I think he'd be on the floor right now.
I do.
But thank you to all the members of the Free Range Idiocy congregation who tuned in and listened. If you're not a member of the Free Range Idiocy congregation, well, I mean, we like to consider ourselves kind of the nicer cult. So all you have to do to be part of the Free Range Idiocy congregation is subscribe to the podcast. That's it. It's a very low bar. We like to make this easy entry. So what you do is you find us at freerangeidiocy.com. You can find all of our episodes there. You can download one at a time. You can download them all. You can download them multiple times. I mean, hey, we're not stopping you. We're not your dad. We aren't trying to tell you how to live. And you can also subscribe to the Podbean app. If you've decided I've got quite enough apps in my life, I don't need another one, then fine. Go find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Pandora, Spotify, any of those purveyors of podcasts out there, and you're more than likely going to find us. If you are also so inclined, it'd be great if you throw us a like or a follow on the social medias, because damn it, we love us and us. You can find us on, we're on the Facebook, we're on the Instagram, we're also on the YouTubes, and you can find all of our episodes. You can find entire episodes there. So if you prefer to get your podcast content through the YouTubes, hey, we're right there for you, baby. So check us out there. And also, as I mentioned earlier, if you have any thoughts, comments, or suggestions, whatever, threats of mild insultery or whatever, send those to Tim at freerangeidiocy.com, and he will get back to you forthwith, if not sooner. And now, finally, I'm going to stop my jaws a-flapping. I'm going to hand this over to the less idiotic of the 2 idiots who run the show, the man who, as I'm speaking right now, is diligently looking over the notes that he has jotted down on his trusty legal pad and getting ready to take this sucker home. But not before I ask him the second most important question ever uttered in humankind. The first, of course, being what is hip. The second being, what the hell did we learn this episode?
We have learned the following.
All righty then.
I may be the less idiotic, but may not at all times be the less sober.
It's certainly not tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
Not tonight. We've learned the following. We are bullish on Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man in Avengers Secret Wars. I think that's a fair statement.
Sure.
We have also learned Sir Sean Connery should not have been jobbed out by League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yeah!
We've also learned Uncle Todd has now earned 2 nicknames, if you will. One, the Fly Slayer. The other, Smoter of Flies.
You are worse than Hulk Hogan.
Thank you. We've also learned the man they call Tim promised a quick, real and jabroni, and delivered with 50.
He was the punk.
Well, and punk. I can't argue with that. Finally, the man they called him enjoys that bourbon while we record.
Yeah!
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah!
With all that being said, we thank you for the listenership.
Yeah!
Here we go.
Let me talk to you!
Uncle Taj is going to keep hitting buttons and distracting me. We thank you for the listenership, and we like to close things up on the range here.
Yeah!
Be safe.
Yeah!
Be healthy.
Yeah!
Be kind.
Yeah!
Be good to one another.
Yeah!
And as we like to close, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Make him humble.
Thank you, Shiki.
It's like I picked the wrong week to quit drinking.
I think you've had about enough.
Well, I think you're wrong, you increasingly attractive-looking woman. You know, you're really pretty.
Oh, stop.
No, I'm serious. You could be in magazines. You could. And not just like Jugs or Creamsicle. Call me? She won't call.
Oh, here's a pleasant sight. Cirrhosis the Wonder Dog.
I'm not drunk, all right? I just have a speech impediment. And a stomach virus. And an inner ear infection.
I beg your pardon, what did you say?
Client and the McClary brothers came in an hour ago. I tried to get him to go to bed, but he won't let go.
Damn! Quiet, just in time. Pull up a chair.
You're such a disappointing pair. I prayed so hard for you.
Nonsense. I've not yet begun to defile myself.
Get out.
I will not be pawed at. Thank you very much.
And don't come back until you've redeemed yourselves.
What's that now? The 12 hands in a row holiday? Son of a bitch, nobody's that lucky.
So say we all. So say we all.
Maybe poker's just not your game, I know. Let's have a spelling contest.
How about I just ring your scrawny down? I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
Good night. Farewell. I'm done.
Damn!
Good God.
Just over 2 hours of recording time before edit. Congratulations, sir. You managed to nail that. You did.
I did. I told you, man.
I mean, it took half a bottle of bourbon for you to do it, but you did it.
I did it. I'm not with it, but I did it.
I was going to say, how are you feeling right now?
I'm ready for bed is what I am.
Now get the hell out of here!